My parents refuse to speak with me until I pay off the debt for my sister's college in full and plan to disown me. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for my sister's college in full? My parents paid for my degree out of college, which I was happy about, cost $37K. I was able to save up for a house, and now 4 years out of school, I was able to buy my own condo, and my BF and I are planning to get married, so I've been saving for that. I now have a healthy nest egg and am saving and investing along with that. Then last month they told me I have to pay for my sister's schooling, which was $62K. I don't think that fair because they only gave me $37K for my schooling and never told them I had to pay them back or pay for my sister at all. They won't admit it, but I think they lost a lot of money when my dad was stock trading and doing risky investments, since they sold their house right afterwards, saying they wanted to downsize. They also got super bitter and weird with money around our relatives, including picking a fight with my uncle who was always wealthy. No one would tell my sister or I what the fight was about, but now I assume it's because my parents lost most of their money and is angry my uncle wouldn't help. All my cousins had their tuitions paid, so it's embarrassing my sister wouldn't as well, which is my parents are insisting I pay it. I told them and my sister I would give back $19K, which was half the amount for my schooling, so it would be like the $37K was split between us. They argue with me that I should be paying for her full schooling as my parents did for me, but I don't think that fair, as I'd rather have had $37K in debt to deal with than $62K in debt, especially when this was sprung upon me. I told them either take the $19K as half my tuition payment or I wasn't going to discuss it with them again. They then called my BF to accuse him of influencing me to be greedy with my own family when I should be paying for my sister's full tuition amount. I was furious and told them they accepted the $19K and agreed to never bring up my sister's loan with me again, or I wouldn't have anything to do with this anymore and wouldn't invite them to the wedding. My mom yelled at me and told me I was an embarrassment to the family. My sister came back alone and told me she would take the $19K and have it be enough. I told her she had to tell me in front of our parents that she would accept the $19K, and she retracted what she said, saying she wasn't going to do that. I know she is hoping I give up and give her the money if my parents put enough pressure on me. Story 2. How do I break it off with this seemingly clingy person? Let me start by saying I, 42F, have a really hard time breaking up with people because I feel so bad about hurting their feelings. But I'm older now and I don't really have the patience to waste on someone I don't like. I met this guy 50M 2 weeks ago. After our first date, he planned 3 more dates for that same week and planned something for my birthday that is a month away. That's a lot for a mom with a full-time job and kids at home, and is also packing up a 4BR house. I wound up blowing off the 3rd date out of pure exhaustion and wanting to see my kids more than him, and then I really blew off the 4th date when he started to creep me out. He wanted to plan a vacation before Christmas. He wanted to meet my kids already. He openly told me that he was stalking my FB account. He was already jealous of my ex-boyfriend, who I'm still friends with and who is close with my kids. Last Friday, I went out to dinner with my girlfriends, and he called the restaurant and paid for the entire bill, then told me that my friend should like him because they are the same nationality, which he found out from FB. Then proceeded to text me throughout the entire dinner. My friends were giddy about the free meal, but I was freaked out. The next morning, he started texting extremely early, telling me how excited he was to see me that night. Then he asked if he could rent an apartment from me so he could spend more time with me. That's when my stomach started to really turn. Next, he offered to pay my rent. This is a man I have known for 2 weeks, have never even kissed, and probably spent only 5 hours in person with. It's crazy, right? Please tell me I'm not being an ungrateful B***TCH. Well, he's not taking the hint that I don't want to date right now. I don't know if I should ghost him or be more firm. His behavior is so bizarre that I'm a little nervous that he might become unhinged if I don't handle this the right way. TLDR, what is the easiest, safest way to break up with someone who won't take the hint and seems somewhat obsessive? Story 3. Should we be trying harder to connect with each other's parents? My boyfriend, 23M, and I, 22F, have been together for over a year and a half, and we were friends for 2 years before dating. We both still live with our parents while we save to move in together in the future. Since we're both still at home, we see a lot of each other's parents. I think we both have when it comes to each other's families. My family likes him, except for my younger sister, but she dislikes most people in general, so I'm sure it's nothing personal at all. He just doesn't come over that often. His house is empty more often than mine is, so I'd rather spend uninterrupted quality time with him there. My dad wants to get to know him better and always wants me to invite him over for dinner. But my dad is very talkative and opinionated while my boyfriend is introverted and keeps to himself a lot of the time. He also never had his dad in his life, so the strong black father figure that my dad embodies may be a little daunting for him, I think. My mom relates to my boyfriend's situation more because she's also introverted and grew up without her father. She and I think my dad is a little pressed, but I'd also be pleasantly surprised if they did grow closer. We are a pretty close-knit family despite our differences, so it certainly wouldn't hurt! Now my boyfriend's mother is interesting. She's never been unkind to me, to my face at least, and we usually say hello to each other when I come over, but I'm not a big fan of her personality. Talks down to my boyfriend a lot, and it seems like they can only effectively communicate with each other by yelling. Then she gets offended that he doesn't want to be around her. She can also be stubborn, and she gossips about people a lot, including my boyfriend and I sometimes. I hear her out talking about people all the time, but she gets angry if anyone has anything to say about her or tries to call her out on her gossiping. I've heard her talk to friends up about how I never say anything other than hello and how I'm too busy to talk to anyone, but she's never really made the effort to continue a conversation further with me. I'm also shy and hate small talk, so I'm not that great at initiating or keeping a conversation going. I don't want to say anything dumb or irrelevant, so I'll greet her, ask her how she is, and go about my business unless she continues the conversation, which she hardly ever does. My boyfriend already doesn't get along with her that well and says he doesn't care what she thinks of me, but I kind of do. Or at least, if we don't like each other, can we be frank about it instead of me having to hear about it later when she's talking to one of her friends! Should the both of us be trying to connect with the other's parents more? I love my boyfriend and I'm positive he loves me too. I'd be willing to try harder with his mother for us, and I'd want to talk to him about getting to know my dad and not being scared of him if it really is that important. TL Doctor, my boyfriend and dad's personalities don't mesh, and I don't really care for my potential MIL either. Can we make it work? Story 4. What do you do to stop obsessing over someone? On 25F, seriously obsessed with my so 34M, and I'm turning more into a clingy, possessive and controlling person. He doesn't see how crazy I am. It's driving me crazy personally. I'm always wondering what he's doing on his phone. I check to see if he's home. If he goes out, I wonder if he's with another girl. I'm anxious all the time. If he doesn't come out to see me before I leave for work or right, when I come home I get anxious. I even dropped our relationship down to casual dating thinking it'd help my obsessiveness, but it hasn't. The relationship isn't even working out, but I can't stop. And we live together, which makes it way more difficult. I try to keep myself busy but still obsess. TL Doctor, I'm trying to detach from my so and was wondering how other people successfully have done this.